This video was recorded with the AverMedia Live Gamer Portable. Skip it up and that up. Oh my lord, have I received countless emails about doing a comparison video between the PS4 and Xbox One. Even before we knew it was called the Xbox One, like I'm talking like a year and a half ago, like pretty much on a daily basis for like the past almost 2 years. People have been asking me to make a comparison video, and I just, after I did that Wii U one, actually it was pretty much since the Wii U video I made, which I feel like that was about a year and a half ago, wasn't it? People asked me to make an Xbox 720, Xbox One versus PS4 video, and I wanted to make sure with this one the information was as accurate as possible. And now that both consoles are official, we've seen them, they're in the flesh. Sony says they may make a couple more very minor cosmetic changes to the PS4, but besides for that, it's finished. It's coming out this fall. Same with the Xbox One. I feel ready to talk about it. And I have a nice list of stuff here that I typed out, and we're going to compare them. And then I'll give you my personal take on them at the end and tell you which one I'm going to buy. So let's start with the nitty-gritty. Let's start with the specs, and we'll talk about what's inside the consoles. Now, we've known for a while that pretty much the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, capability-wise, are going to be... It's arguable, there's other things going on, but they're going to be pretty much the same. And I know that's going to make people's hair stand up and they're going to rage, but it's true, okay? Both the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 are going to have Blu-ray. Motion control is going to be Kinect, which is going to be bundled with every Xbox One. The PlayStation 4, the controllers have those lights on them, and it works with the PlayStation Eye, and that's how they're going to do their movement. And it works with the PlayStation Move controllers. Just, oh my God, I really could care less. That turns me off with the Xbox One. I could care less about Kinect. I just don't see a future with Kinect. Whatever. I know people bought it like crazy with the 360. It's so funny. So many people bought it with the 360, and there's been like no standout games for it, and no one really enjoyed it. But anyway, the CPU inside both the central processor, the brain of both these next-gen consoles, PS4 and Xbox One, about to call it Xbox 360, caught myself there. They're going to have an 8-core 64-bit AMD processor. They're basically two quad-core processors slapped together, and they pretty much have the same capabilities all around. I hear they're identical. They're even almost the same CPU or same chip, more or less. RAM. This is where things start to get nippleish. I know I say nipples a lot, but that's my phrase, man. Get used to it. The Xbox, they both have 8 gigabytes of RAM. However, the Xbox One is using DDR3. The PlayStation 4 is going to have 8 gigabytes of GDDR5. That's usually the RAM you find in graphics cards. Now, there's things going around that the graphics processor in the PS4 is 50% more capable than the one in the Xbox One. They're talking about how the Xbox One, but it also has that 32 megabytes of SRAM. I was about to say SDRAM. Talk about that being outdated. But SRAM is going to be on the die where the graphics processor is in the Xbox One, which makes up for the slower DDR3. Then I've read articles that's saying that there's more latency with the GDDR5. So even though it's only DDR3 RAM in the Xbox One, it's not going to be that much faster or that much slower than the PlayStation 4. Who the hell knows? It's up to how the developer uses it, and in real world performance, it's going to be a wait and see thing, okay? Maybe the PlayStation 4 is going to be 50% more powerful, but all that stuff is great on paper. I want to see real world results, and after watching both conferences, the games out of both camps looked very impressive. The games from Xbox One looked fantastic. The games in the PlayStation 4 looked fantastic. I mean, at least looking through a live stream, I didn't see any difference. Both are going to have USB 3.0. Wireless, this is an interesting one. It has to do with the controllers. We'll talk about that later. Wireless for the Xbox One is going to have obviously 802.11n and Wi-Fi Direct. That's how the controller is going to connect to the Xbox One, which is actually a pretty interesting thing. For the PlayStation 4, 802.11n. Obviously, if you have B or G, which in 2013, I hope you don't have a wireless B router still. But when you have 802.11n, it's backwards compatible with G, B, A, all that crap. Gigabit Ethernet, both are going to have that. HDMI, yes, of course, both are going to have that. I mean, consoles from 2006 and 2000. Well, actually, the original Xbox 360 did not have HDMI. I forgot about that almost. The Xbox One, because it's going to interface with your cable box, which face palm with that. I thought the Xbox One, the whole thing is that it was going to become your cable box on top of being a console, but it also has an HDMI input, so you can use it as a pass-through for your cable box, and then you'll control your cable box through the Xbox One. Both are going to have, which is going to be awesome, suspend and resume games where like you could just put it in a sleep mode and go right back to where you were, kind of like how they do on portable games from portable consoles. Background downloading, yes, both of them are going to do that, and that is awesome too. I'm glad both camps decided to use that, because how many times you'd have to wait for an update or something like that, and it would take forever to get the update. Especially, I have to admit, PlayStation 3 was much more guilty of this. The current generation, or previous now I should say, updates were a bear on that thing, and I'm glad they found ways to kind of make it more seamless, where you don't have to sit there and wait for games to update and wait for games to download and things to go on in the background, because that was a pain in the ass. As a matter of fact, I think the PlayStation 4 has a processor dedicated to handling all those tasks when things download and stuff in the background, so it won't affect your gameplay at all. Both are going to let you, they're also going to act as DVRs to record your gameplay footage. Both the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One are going to do that, and both are going to have streaming of gameplay. The Xbox One is going to use Twitch.tv, and PlayStation 4 is going to use Ustream. So almost identical in many ways there, man. Exclusives. Let's talk exclusives now. I have to say this, okay? Personal preferences aside, the Xbox One, that Microsoft's conference at E3 2013, the games gave me a little bit of a nerd boner. Dead Rising 3 looked awesome to me. A lot of people were complaining about that. I thought it looked cool. Rise, Son of Rome looked really badass. Looked is the key word. Had a couple too many quick time events for me, but whatever. It was an impressive game. That whole medieval Rome thing is right up my alley. Killer Instinct, making another video on that one, but they brought it back. But there's quite a few catches to that from what I'm hearing. Quantum Break, same people that made Alan Wake, had to think about that for a second. So that should be good. They had Project Spark, Titanfall, Forza 5. They're getting all the DLC for Call of Duty first, which that time DLC thing totally pisses me off. But all those games I just mentioned are exclusive. So they really kicked ass and took names when it came to the games at their E3 2013 conference. Now, PlayStation 4 is no slouch. I just thought that the Xbox One's conference had that wow factor to it, but they're going to have Killzone Shadowfall, Infamous Second Son, Knack, The Order, The Dark Sorcerer, and they showed like 10 indie games. Honestly, only like 2 of those games caught my eye, but we know Sony's going to have the third-party support. We know they have awesome first-party titles too. Uncharted, The Last of Us is coming out this Friday, but like I said, from just going by E3, Xbox One's conference was a little more exciting. Now, controllers. Let's talk about the PS4 one first. It's going to have a clickable touchpad. So it's going to be almost like a mouse pad that you can click down on, see how developers use that. Could be an interesting feature. I mean, I like that the controller still looks like a slightly souped up regular DualShock controller, so the feeling isn't going to change. It's going to have the light bar on it, which could interact with the PlayStation Eye, so it knows where it could track you. So if you're playing like a split screen game and you're on the right and your buddy's on the left, it'll know where to put that part of the split screen, so it'll be on the right. That's pretty cool. It has a share button right on it, so you could share your gameplay footage. Just click that controller. Socializing is one button away. It's also going to have a built-in speaker and a headphone jack, which I think that part is pretty badass. The Xbox One controller is pretty much a standard Xbox 360 controller with a slightly different aesthetic look. On top of it, too, it's going to still use double A's, facepalm. What were they thinking? But there is a little trick that Microsoft has up its sleeve. I mentioned it before. The controller, the Xbox One controller, is going to interface with the Xbox One wirelessly with Wi-Fi Direct, okay? Now, Wi-Fi Direct has a data transfer rate of 250 megabits per second. The PS4 controller is using Bluetooth 2.1, which is outdated now, and that has a maximum data transfer rate of 3 megabits per second. It's a 247. So the Wi-Fi Direct on the Xbox One is a 247 megabit one-up on the Bluetooth 2.1 that the PS4 is going to use. Now, you're probably wondering, who the hell cares? Like, it's a controller. As long as there's no latency, what's the big deal? Future accessories and new technologies can be utilized that they may need that high bandwidth. Say, Microsoft, they may say maybe the whole smart glass thing won't work out and they want to make a proprietary touchscreen controller for the Xbox One in the future. You need high bandwidth to send video and have no latency. They may have to, so that Wi-Fi Direct may be an advantage for them. And if Sony wants to do something like that, they're sure as shit not doing it with Bluetooth 2.1 with 3 megabits per second transfer rate. So you don't know what accessories may come out in the future, and the more bandwidth, the merrier. It'll make those accessories work better, and that's probably more of an advantage than people are going to realize for the Xbox One having that Wi-Fi Direct feature that the PS4 does not have. When it comes to motion control gaming, this is kind of a herp-derp one. The Xbox One is coming with Kinect 2.0. They could even track your fingers now. They could track more people. The Kinect 2.0 could even sense your heart rate, which is like kind of creepy. You could use the Xbox One, the Kinect 2.0, to navigate through menus. You could turn the Xbox One on by saying Xbox on when you walk in the room. Sony is eventually going to come out with some kind of camera that could do the same thing, but they don't have it now. Whoop-de-doo. I personally don't care about it. If you're excited about being able to, wave your hand like an idiot to move around menus, wonderful, good for you. I guess we'll see what developers do with it, okay? Now that they have a platform that every single console is going to have a Kinect, let's see if they can make some magic happen. I still don't think they can. I mean, every Wii came with motion controls and most of the games, minus the ones that came from Nintendo, and there were a few other exceptions. A lot of them were gimmicky. I wish motion control gaming would just die. Please just die. No one likes you. And I still think they're going to use the Kinect 2.0 to spy on people. I don't care what anybody says, especially with all the crap going on with the NSA right now and Prism and all that crap. I mean, with cell phones. That's a different video. I'll shut up now. Let's move on to the next thing. Non-gaming, entertainment. Now, we know, especially with the big conference, for the initial reveal conference that Microsoft had, that they're pushing, it's an all-around entertainment box. You connect your cable box to it, which still to me is a face palm. And they're doing a big thing with the NFL and sports, and they're having, you could use your Xbox One as a DVR. How far it's going to go as a DVR with only a 500 gigabyte hard drive is beyond me, but sure, you could do it. Whereas Sony's just kind of, they're taking the same, maybe in the future they'll integrate it more if the Xbox One is successful. But right now it's just going to kind of do where you have Hulu, Netflix, all that stuff in it, and okay, that's all that's all I really care about. But if you're mom and pop or the Clampetts down the street, maybe the Xbox One will appeal to you more. If you just, want to play the occasional game, but want to use it more as an entertainment device. And it has to be said that the Xbox One, as an all-in-one entertainment device at this moment in time, is a superior piece of hardware for that if you want something that's going to do a little bit of everything. Social integration. As an old man who's going to be 32 in a little over a month, I don't really care about it too much, but hey, it's a part of both of the next-gen systems, the PS4 and the Xbox One, so I'm going to talk about it. Maybe it'll be appealing to you, especially if you're younger. I'm sure this may be a big thing. The PS4, they want you connected all the time. Not required like Microsoft's doing with the 24-hour check thing. We'll talk about that in a minute. But they really want, like, you know, you could really bring your games and have a social experience with your friends. Live video chat, Facebook, boom, is going to be like native. It's going to be everywhere. It's going to be a part of the PS4. When your friends get a game, you're going to know about it. You'll be able to play games before they're even finished downloading, which is cool, okay? And again, that share button on the PS4 controller is a big thing. With that button, you're going to be able to take screenshots. So if there's like a badass picture you want to show your friends, you could do it. You're going to be able to broadcast live gameplay just by hitting that button. Share videos of, you know, if you pwn someone or rip someone's face off in multiplayer matches, you could do that. Your friends are going to be able to, like, you know, type comments about, oh my god, you pwned that noob, and comment while you're playing. If you're a gaming expert and you already beat a game and your friend didn't beat it yet, you could help them out with it. It's crazy what they're doing. And they're really trying to amp up the PlayStation network as a whole. On top of it too, Sony's making the whole remote play with the PlayStation Vita a requirement for any developer that makes a game for the PS4. So if you get a Vita and you have a good Wi-Fi connection, you could play your games from anywhere, literally. And it's going to be a requirement. So if a game comes out for the PS4, it has to meet those requirements to be able to utilize remote play. So if you have a Vita, you can play your PlayStation 4 library anywhere. That's another really damn cool thing to me. Now, Microsoft is doing a lot of good shit when it comes to social integration as well. As a matter of fact, it's safe to say I think they're going to be outdoing Sony when it comes to social integration. Your Xbox Live friend list that had a 100 friend limit, that's gone. You could friend anyone whoever the hell you want to. Achievements are going to get an overhaul. They said they're going to have richer detail and span across your games and experiences. Okay? I guess it's a good thing. I don't know if they got to go into more detail with it, but sure, cool. The built-in game DVR of the Xbox One automatically records the last few seconds of your gameplay and allows you to upload video of whatever the last game is that you played for others to see. Twitch TV is fully integrated. If you're a Live Gold member, which if you're spending that much money on the Xbox One, you should be, not only will you be able to live stream your own gameplay, you'll be able to add voice to the stream with Kinect, and you could watch others stream as well. And last but not least, the Xbox One is going to have Skype just integrated, built in. That's huge on so many levels. Not only will Skype be awesome to use to communicate with other people while you're playing games, that's going to bring all the housewives are going to love. If there's an Xbox One in the living room, it's going to bring Skype into the living room. I think that's going to be a really big thing. I could be wrong, but Skype is awesome for communication, and having it fully integrated into a console, I think people are underestimating it. I think that's a ginormous thing for Microsoft, and that gives them a huge advantage, at least when it comes to social integration. DRM and internet connections. Let's talk PS4 and Xbox One. The Xbox One requires periodic online check-ins in order to play games once every 24 hours. PS4 has nothing like that. On the Xbox One, Microsoft says that game publishers can, if they want, enable you to trade your games in at participating retailers. Microsoft also says that the Xbox One is designed so you can lend your games to friends, but puts the responsibility of enabling this strictly on the shoulders of the publisher of the game. What does Sony do? They do none of this. As of now, anyway. They promised it. They made a video kind of trolling the Xbox One for doing this stuff. Like I said before, I'm very happy that Sony came out and proudly announced all this. That they're not doing any. You do never have to have your PS4 connected to the internet. Their policy is if you buy the game, you could trade it, sell it, lend it, use it as toilet paper, do whatever you want to. But I still just can't imagine that if a publisher is making a game multi-platform, they're going to want to have the DRM just on the Xbox One and not on the PS4. So we're going to have to see how that plays out. Maybe, even though I'm very pissed off at what Microsoft is doing, maybe it won't be as restrictive as it sounds. We're going to have to wait and see. I hope it's not. I hope for the sake of the entire industry, Microsoft doesn't, really make it as draconian, the whole DRM thing as draconian as they're making it seem, because in the end, it's bad news for the whole industry, man. I've talked about it before. Microsoft, this is the reason why you're getting so much negative press. You got to give the consumer freedom, okay? You can't take it away. Anyway, I've preached about that a billion times before. Moving on. Last but not least, the price. Now, if you remember a while back, there were people like Michael Pachter saying that the Xbox One, he thought maybe it was going to have like where you could buy it in full, or you could do something where you sign a 2-year contract and pay next to nothing for it. Microsoft mentioned nothing about that. The Xbox One, they say, is going to cost $499 US. The PS3 is going to be $100 cheaper and is going to launch this holiday season, or in the fall, in the US anyway, at $399 US. That $100 makes a big difference. And plus, with all the stuff they're talking about with DRM and everything right now, the PS4 is more affordable and is giving more freedom to the consumer from the get-go. I see a lot of people, even people who were diehard Xbox fans, jumping onto the jumping into the PlayStation camp now. Microsoft, $500. That you're going back to the days of, the Xbox or the PS3. The PS3, that was what gave you a big one-up, Microsoft, with the Xbox 360. Got to remember all these 360, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Anyway, but what gave you a big up with the 360 was that you had two models when it came out. That one was $299, the arcade, I believe it was called, or the basic model. I don't think it was arcade when the Xbox 360 first launched. Then you had the $399 model with the 20 gig hard drive. Now, even back then, 20 gigs was shit, but still, seemed like a much more affordable console than the PS3, which was $500 and $600. And now you're launching a console with very economy and very poor health for the same price the PS3 pretty much launched at, $100 shy from the premium model, but you get what I'm saying. What are you thinking, man? Everyone, you're really like handing, at least initially, handing this generation over to Sony. I don't understand your pricing and your philosophy, Microsoft. It's just boggling my mind. I don't think you're stupid. I just think you're being arrogant. So now that you heard all the facts about the Xbox One and PS4, which one do I feel will give you the superior experience? Which console do I want? Well, let's go find out. Let's go see. Come on. Oh. Got a surprise for you. Oh my god, there's a moth the size of a fucking bat in here. Holy shit. Okay, anyway. Well, let's get out of here. We're going on a mission here, folks. Which system do I feel is superior? I just bumped my knee into my car. I'm so excited to tell you. Oh god, I can't find the lock. Can't find the lock. Can't find the... I have it here. You can't see it. Which system do I feel is superior? Let's find out. Up the steps. Well, PlayStation 4, bitch! Oh god, yeah. Xbox done. Xbox done. PS4 for me. Oh, look at it. Look at it. Oh, does it hurt good? Does it hurt good? It hurts so good. Oh.